Hey bro, just got that new drip. Really? What'd you buy? Check it out, my guy. Jeez. What? Yeah, it was only like 50 bucks on sale, obviously. I'm pretty sure that's a girl's shirt, dude. Yeah, but whatever, at least it's a good deal and the store's closing, so you gotta buy something. So just because there's a sign that's telling you to buy something, you buy something? You're never gonna wear that. What? I'm gonna wear this all the time. I would bet that you've done that at least a couple of times in your life, and so have I. Signs like these limited time only, get it before it's gone that you see outside of stores are one of the most common sales tactics used by just about every single corporation in the world. And the reason for that is because it creates this sense of urgency and this feeling of like you're fighting for resources that makes people buy products they normally wouldn't have or spend more money than they would have if they never saw that sign in the first place. Now, this human response to view opportunities that are less available as more valuable is called the scarcity principle. The scarcity principle is the reason that Apple infamously used to understock their stores for the release of a new iPhone, which would create chaos in the lines and make people camp outside their stores for days. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, these are all holidays that have been created to leverage the scarcity principle in order to influence you into spending much more money than you originally would have because of this innate feeling like you are missing out on an opportunity. Now, you may already know about the scarcity principle, but I bet that you still tend to fall for it from time to time. Now, what if I told you there are thousands of these psychological tricks that are being used on you all the time by the media, by corporations, by maybe even your friends and family, and you aren't even aware of them, which makes them that much more powerful. So I just finished Influence by Robert Cialdini. This book is all about the science of persuasion. How can you provoke someone into performing actions they normally wouldn't do? And the answer is something that he calls the click-run response, where the click is a trigger for an automatic psychological reaction, and the run is the response to that trigger. For example, say you're watching a scary movie late at night. A click could be the suspenseful music as the character walks into a haunted room. The run is the goosebumps that you feel, or the little girl yell when there's a pop-up. Click-run responses are everywhere in nature. When your dog barks at the doorbell, that's a click-run response. Salesmen and these experts of these multi-million-dollar corporations have figured out how to use this click-run response to get people to buy things and spend a lot of money in a way that they don't even know is happening. If you want to see the scarcity principle trigger a click-run response in your own life, next time that you're selling a car, schedule multiple people to look at the car within 10 minutes of each other. Every single person that looks at the car is going to put pressure on each other to make an emotional decision rather than a logical one. Now, obviously, there's good and bad ways that you can use psychological tricks like these, but I want to give you some harmless ones that whether you're a business owner and you just want to increase the chance that someone buys something from your store, or if you're just an employee that wants to increase the chances that you get an extra % on your raise, for example. Even if you don't use these principles, by being aware of them, you can realize when they're being used on you and save yourself from making some bad decisions in the future. So let's talk about a few more. Have you ever lifted a heavy weight and then a lighter weight right after? If you have, then you notice that the lighter weight always seems way lighter than it would have if that's the one that you started with. This is because when you experience two similar things, your perception of the second is influenced by your experience of the first, something that psychologists call the contrast principle. And just like the scarcity rule, it is extremely powerful in influencing people. Let me give you an example. Say you're a car salesman at a dealership and a customer comes in thinking about buying a new car, but they're kind of on the fence about spending that much money. A way that you can increase the chance of selling that car to the customer by using the contrast principle is by showing them two cars. The first car is going to have all of the add-ons, all of the extra features, and it's going to be a nice car, but it's going to be a very expensive car, which is going to be the most undesirable. Now, the second car that you show them is going to have less features, less add-ons, and as a result, it's going to be cheaper. By showing the customer the second car that's cheaper, it makes it seem much more desirable, even if it's still out of their original budget range. This makes the chances of you selling this car much greater than it would have if that was the only car that you showed them. Because it sets this bar of expectation of how much money they're going to spend, anything below that seems like, wow, this is a really good deal. Dealerships are super slick with these types of things. I know of some dealerships that they even let you test out a car for a week. Now, this is also using the contrast principle because when you're driving a brand new car for a week and then you have to give it back at the end of it, you are left comparing this brand new car to your old Honda Prelude. And there's some really subtle ways that you can use the contrast principle in your own life. Say you've been working at your job for a while and you think that it's time to negotiate a raise, but you have the type of boss that's really hard to talk to and he's really hard to get a raise from. If you're looking for a 1 to 3% raise, a way that you can increase the chances of getting it is by first asking for a very ambitious 10% raise. You make the case that you feel like you're underpaid or that other people in this industry are making 10% more money. Now your boss is probably going to look at you like you're crazy for asking for a 10% raise, but in comparison, that 1 to 3% raise is going to seem much more reasonable and therefore increase your chances of getting that raise. And that's the contrast principle. Have you ever wondered why restaurants give you candy when they hand you the bill? It's because restaurant owners have figured out that by giving your customers a little gift at the end of their meal, they tip more, like a lot more. Why? Because of this psychological rule that we all subconsciously follow called the rule of reciprocation. The rule of reciprocation explains that basically as humans, we have been preconditioned since a young age that when someone gives us something, we should try our best to repay it. You can find it in all cultures from all members of society. If someone brings a bottle of wine to your birthday, you feel obligated to bring one to theirs. Christmas is a holiday that would not work without the rule of reciprocation. You are literally giving something and you're expecting something back. Reciprocation for a very long time has been a fundamental part of social relationships. And the reason it works so well is because as humans, especially as adults, we don't like having this feeling of indebtedness, like we owe someone something. The rule of reciprocation is so powerful to the point where it can greatly increase the chance that someone says yes to you, even if they don't like you, or even if they were sure to say no to something before. There's an example in this book that mentions an insurance survey that had two different groups. One group just received a $5 gift with their survey with no obligation to complete it, while the second group was offered $50 for completing the survey. And what they found was that the people who received $5 with the survey were twice as likely to complete the survey than the people who were offered $50 for completing it. This is a big reason why places like Costco offer free samples. It's because it increases the chance that someone buys that product by like 42%. Giving seems to be a very good way to ensure that you receive. So remember that next time you're working with a client or you have a big favor to ask, think about how you can give that person something first. Now, the last thing that I'm going to talk about is one of, if not the most powerful tool in influencing human behavior. And if you feel like you've never been affected by any of the other ones that I've talked about, you 100% without a doubt have been affected by this, and it's social proof. People are lazy and we like shortcuts. It's why most of the time we don't like to do our own research and make up our own opinion. So most of the time we're going to other people to validate how we should feel about something. It's why we look at reviews. It's why celebrities are hired to promote products they know absolutely nothing about. Like, what does Shaq have to do with this insurance company? Probably not much, but I bet a lot of people signed up for insurance after this commercial came out. There's a funny old saying that this book talks about that goes a little like, if one person says you have a tail, you laugh it off as stupid, but if 3 people say it, then you turn around. And it's pretty true. When I was a kid trying to convince my mom to let me go on a school field trip, the way that I would get her to say yes is by saying, all of my other friends' parents are letting them go, and it pretty much always worked. So next time that you have a big sell or some really hard convincing to do, try to incorporate social proof and I guarantee you that the odds of success are going to be way higher. So there you have it. I mean, that's only a few psychological tactics that I got from this book. I mean, this is 500 pages and it's just full of these things. I haven't even scratched the surface. So if you're interested, I would highly recommend checking this book out. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. We're on our way to 10,000 subscribers, which is so dope. This is Think Rich. I'm Alex. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.